Greetings everyone, this is David and today's video is about answering the question, why did God create the world? Now, this simple question potentially has a very simple answer. It's a mystery. How dare we try to understand the mind of God? Now, while this sentiment is correct in some senses, there is in fact a satisfying and sufficient answer to this question. And the reason why this question is important is because a correct understanding of this question and its answer is also a correct understanding of plurality and unity, both in God and in the created order. If God is a strict unity, which is a philosophical view that certain philosophers had and even was important to major world religions like Islam and Judaism. If God is just this strict unity, from whence does plurality come from? And because there is a relationship between unity and plurality, is this relationship of balance? If it is of balance, then where is it in God? If it is of opposition, then does this not mean plurality is evil? Meaning that then this means that God shouldn't have created the world. Creation is evil, right? Fundamentally, in some senses. Whereas if you're an Orthodox Christian, this problem doesn't exist because in Orthodox Christianity there is a balance of unity and plurality. God is one divinity, there is unity, but there is also plurality, that is, God is three divine persons. And the source and foundation of plurality, both in God and in the created order, rests upon love. And when I say this, I'm not trying to jiggle your spiritual bones. Love is the cause and source of plurality. God's abundant love for goodness is the reason why he has begotten a son, and it is also the reason why he has created the world. And so the reason why God created the world, and to answer this question, is for God to share his goodness and love to other beings, to other things, right? And this is why God creates man in his image. So man is made in the image of God, whereas Christ is the natural image of God. So Christ is not created, the word of God is not created, but man is created. And what it means to be made in the image of God is that man has aspects of God in himself in a created mode. So just like God has, for example, a mind, man also has a immaterial mind. Just like God has free choice, a free will, man also has a free choice, a free will. Just like God has personhood, man also has personhood. Just like God has rationality, man also has rationality. So you get the point. Alongside the fact that man is made in the image of God, man is also to be in the likeness of God. And to be in the likeness of God is referring to having the virtues of God. And the virtues are things that you act towards. So it's not something that you automatically have the moment you're created. You have to act towards having those virtues. And becoming virtuous, having the divine virtues, is what Christ means by be perfect as the Father is perfect. This is what it really refers to, is having the likeness of God. And this is very relevant to the idea, to the concept of theosis in Orthodox Christianity, which is that God became man so that man might become like God by grace, right? So what Christ is by nature, that is divine, man is to become that by God's divine grace. So these are the theosis formulae. And so the purpose of man's life is to live in accordance with man's nature, and to live in accordance with man's nature is to live in accordance with the virtues of God. And when we talk about the supposed existence of evil, evil doesn't really exist. Evil is a privation of good, it's an opposition to good. And when we look at sin and the characteristics of God, we see an opposition between the two. And on the one hand, God is existence, God is love, God is goodness. And then we look at sin, we look at the movement away from God, we see the privation of these things. And so what are these privations? These privations will be evil. These privations will be corruption. These privations will be things like death, right? So this is how we can also understand the kind of the training of virtue. And it's even relevant to answering the question of the problem of evil, which is, I answered that in a longer stream, but the short answer is that man is to be trained in the virtues, and that is to choose the good in opposition of evil. And so that's answers the question not just why God created the world, but what is also the purpose of life. So thank you for watching this video, and if you like this video, make sure to share this around, like this video, subscribe to this channel to see more videos like this. And if you want to
support me financially, you can do so by the link in the description below by Patreon. And thanks also to all of my Patreon financiers. Their shoutouts will also be in the description below. Thank you for watching this, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye and take care.